Good day to you. We have some very nice sunlight coming in, and I apologize if there is noise. It is very blustery today. I think we have a front moving through, which is great because it's kind of warm, so it's a little bit hot in here. So my face looks a little shiny. That's what's happening. Let's get right into it, and I will share some of my favorite costuming books with you. My first book is going to seem insane. You're going to think I'm the biggest wingnut on the entire planet. The History of Underclothes by C. Willett and Phyllis Cunnington. This book is put out by Dover, which is one of my favorite historical costuming publishers. There's nothing flashy about these books, but they are so well researched and there's so much good information. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why undergarments are important. If you are going to do something historically accurate, you absolutely have to get the underclothing right. The undergarments help you understand beauty standards. If you understand the undergarments, you'll understand beauty standards a little bit better. And that'll help inform the way that you design a costume or build a costume. And so if you start to research and understand clothing from the inside out, it's really gonna help you understand and make more informed decisions about how you're costuming or what you're costuming. The second book that I have is called Costume and Fashion, a concise story. It is a very concise history of the entire world. It's got examples from all throughout history, which I really, really love. Different headdresses in this particular time period. This one is a little bit more, this probably would have been like the kids in their finest clothing or whatever. But I really like it because this is what these children were wearing at the time. Like it's not a contemporary artist's idea of what children would have worn at that time. This was actually clothes that they had on their body. I like this book a lot because it's just kind of a really great overview of the entire planet's recorded history as fashion up until today. This is great. I mean, you could just like toss this in a backpack. It says it's £9.95. I don't remember how much I paid for this book, but it wasn't £9. If you are going to costume, you have to get your hands on these books. This is Patterns of Fashion by Janet Arnold. This particular one is 1660 to 1860, and this, covers the 18th century, which is one of my favorite time periods and one that I have made quite a few replica garments from. What I like about this book is that it not only goes through, kind of like an overview of the general shapes, actual legit patterns. I'll hold that up so you can kind of see from the time period. Now, if you want to get ideas about how gowns were trimmed, with lace or ribbons or whatever, that's all in this book and it's very helpful. The Hollywood Sketchbook. And this is a very big and heavy book, and I think it retails for around $75. I got it for $15.95 at a used bookstore. So here is a picture of Forrest Gump and his kind of like look as he is running across the country. There are just so many examples in this book, and I think what I love about this is that a lot of these, like, you can look at the renderings and then you can go watch the movie and see how it played out on screen. I love to be able to see the creative process of another artist, and there's something really special about that when you look at, oh, this was the concept that they had in their mind and this is what ended up on screen. The other thing that I really love about this is that these sketches are so beautiful, and I feel like if I'm stuck, I can thumb through this book and I can get these really beautiful examples of other people's art, not to copy, but to just say like, oh, I love how they used buttons on this as a decoration and not just something functional. That makes me think about doing this in my costume or on my project or whatever. Another type of book, you don't necessarily have to have this one, but another type of book is to get a book such as this one And this book does the same thing. So you get to see the concept art through the renderings, through what actually showed up on screen, and it's pretty darn cool. So I'll show you a couple examples. Here is Princess Leia's Hoth look, and you get to see, you know, like up in the corner, there's the renderings and kind of the ideas. The cool part about this is that it shows in great detail the entire costume. A lot of times details don't show on screen, and so if you really want to study costume, especially in television, get your hands on a book like this. For the next set of books, you're gonna get a 3-for-1. Everyday Dress of Rural America, 1783 through 1800, with instructions and patterns by Meredith Wright. Dover is awesome. They're super well researched. There's so much good information in these books that are very detailed, and they're usually very specific to a certain time period or place. This book has patterns for really basic things like how to make a shift. Where did I go? Where did I go? It has information on fabric, and I think it has information on tools. This came from Colonial Williamsburg, and it's basically their collection. One of the really fun things that I did with this book was I made a set of pockets, and pockets were something that you wore underneath your clothing. Your pockets were independent, so you could wear them underneath anything you were wearing. I made a replica, and it was really, really fun, and now I have a hand-done piece that I made that's a replica of an actual historical garment. The other thing that is really, really cool about this book is that there are examples of how people dressed, but in the steps. If you are an author, I think if you were like writing a script or something like that, a book like this would be really, really helpful because you would understand, oh, this is the order that they put things on, if that happened to be part of the storyline or the play or whatever. My last and final book for you guys. So this book is called Costuming for Film, The Art and the Craft. If you have an interest in working in film and television, I highly recommend that you get your hands on this book. It was maybe around 40, 50 bucks. I don't really remember. This book is really, really gonna help you a lot. Now, like I said before, this is very specific to film and television. If you want a costume for theater, that's a whole different ballgame. There are certain things that overlap, but this book is specifically designed for people who are going to be working in film or television. Everything you need to know is in this book. It's a lot of words. There's a lot of words in this book. Being on set is the best teacher, but I think if you try to go into it with no context, it's very, very confusing. And so this can at least help you learn some of the lingo, some of the terms that they use in film and television, which are definitely different than if you are working in theater. For example, one of the things that you will learn about if you work in TV is called a call sheet. Not only a call sheet tells you like locations and times that you're supposed to be there, it shows you where you kind of line up in terms of seniority, and I'm usually like third from the bottom. To be able to look at this and know, oh, if I have a question, this is the person I should text, this is the head of my department. So having this information in here about knowing how to read a call sheet will be very, very helpful to you. So there you have it. There's a handful of books that can help you if you are wanting to design costumes, if you are a historical costumer, if you are a historical reenactor. I hope it's been informative. I would love it if you would comment down below and let me know what your favorite books are for costuming. Please follow me on Instagram. I am @SummerBlooma there too. Thanks for watching.